I'm here to propose Sienna Halliburton for VP Discipline. Now, for those of you who don't have the pleasure of knowing Sienna, those of us that do, would probably describe her as a trustworthy friend, a reliable friend, and a thoughtful friend. She's the kind of person in our friendship group, we've all got that person who organises the Facebook event, creates the group and puts people on it. It's a great skill to have, it's a leadership skill. For example, for my 21st birthday, she rounded up all my friends, managed to get some money out of them, which is apparently an important part of Vice President discipline, and got them to put their money towards a birthday present for me, which now makes R. Kelly's bling look quite small. So I respect her for that, and I think she'll tell you all about her leadership experiences before university, but I'd like to give you some examples. Probably a good display of her discipline was a time when I had a meeting the next day and I decided to go out and get very drunk. And now Sienna knew that I had this commitment, I'd held this commitment, so she managed to get me out of bed at 6 o'clock in the morning, which is something I really didn't want to do. Made me porridge, made me coffee, and made sure I got to my meeting on time in a semi-acceptable state. And that's the kind of friend she is, and that's the kind of person she is. And to give you an example of her authority, there was a time last year when we had to be told by the police that someone living within Bailey House was a danger to us. Now, college decided not to tell us this information, they withheld it from us. Now, Sienna wasn't very happy about this, as were we all, and she decided to walk straight up to High Table at lunchtime and discuss the matter with Tim Bird and Penny Widdowson, which, if she had any, would display that she had big balls. And she's someone who she commands authority, but she's not ashamed of challenging it when she feels that the student body aren't being represented fairly or we're not being treated fairly, which I think is a very important part of being VP Discipline. So, yeah, Sienna Halliburton for VP Discipline. Please vote wisely. Thank you.
Right, good evening everyone. Ladies and gentlemen, it's my great pleasure to propose to you Sam Dethridge as a perfect candidate for VP Discipline. I've known Sam since he came to Hatfield as a fresher, almost 1.5 years ago now. And even in that short time, he's developed both as an individual and as a key member of the college. You'll have to forgive me for being a proud father, but from the fairly quiet, hard-working guy I met in October 2011, Sam has become a confident, strong-willed and highly organised sportsman, leader and friend. I think Sam will agree with me when I say that volunteering for the Hatfield Nepal trip really brought him out of his comfort zone and helped him show his true colours. He's the captain of the men's football C team, a really promising member of the Boat Club men's squad and a dedicated member of bar staff. I've been lucky enough to cox and row with Sam, always upbeat and motivational. He's guaranteed to help a crew push through the worst conditions. And I'm sure he'll translate that enthusiasm into his work as VP Discipline, encouraging Hatfield spirit and providing a thick head for positive change. Perhaps most impressively, Sam is this year's Senior Open Day Rep, a role I have the utmost respect and understanding for, having taken on a similar job myself last year. It's a role that demands efficiency, organisation, management and creativity in a combination that perfectly suits the role of VP Discipline. Of course, Sam would never boast about these qualities, but I have every faith that he'll prove to himself and others over the next few weeks that he takes on the challenge. Sam has shown this year that more than many others I know, he really cares about the college. A regular attendee at JCR meetings and always found in the bar, Sam has grabbed the college bull by the horns. He always shows a great concern for the vitality of the JCR, the views of the students and the Hatfield traditions. Sam knows what makes Hatfield tick, and I'm sure that whether he's making sure people stick to the rules of the game, keeping the gym and bar facility up to scratch, or sticking up for students' disciplinaries, he'll do it all with Hatfield as his greatest concern. Sam believes that being VP Discipline is about being fair and friendly, and I can't imagine a fairer or friendlier guy to do the job.
The bar and the gym are the two areas that are under the responsibility of VP Discipline. What I did is improve a few these areas, and that's going to go to Sienna first.
Okay, well I'll start with the gym. Not sure whether you guys know, but I'm quite a frequent user of the gym, including the weights gym, which can be quite intimidating to girls. That's an area which I'd quite like to improve on. I feel that potentially adding to some of the equipment, restoring the equipment that's already there, primarily, like the leg press, I can't change that, as obviously because I'm a really tall rugby guy, because I can't use it. But trying to sort of improve the diversity in there, with some things which obviously, because there's a limited budget, isn't too expensive, so putting water fountains in, that was when I manifested. I think it's important when you're in there, get dehydrated. Looking into potentially making the air conditioning better functioning in the cardio gym, because obviously that's quite a big deal in the summer, people don't want to be in there, it's boiling hot. Yeah, quite a few ideas for that. I had some experience, a close friend of mine set up a gym during my gap year, I helped be involved in that, volunteered there, just sort of worked there for that year, so I have got a bit of experience in terms of being involved in a gym, getting the lowest equipment, fixing what's already there. In terms of the bar, obviously it's quite a difficult question because there's a regeneration program going on, which is something I'm looking into a lot more, but I think it's pretty good at the moment. I mean, I love the sessions. Blue and yellow, I like that theme. I'd probably try and put a bit more decoration, I like the bunting, probably a bit more stuff like that to make it a bit more appealing and just to fit the general habit spirit, so kind of make it a bit more flamboyant. But yeah, also a water fountain in the gym would probably be quite good. People might not want to go up to the bar and ask for water. I probably should more times than I do. But if there's a water fountain, you could just go fill up your glass. I know it's probably something to look into. Those things are quite achievable as well. So yeah.
Obviously with the bar, I do work on the bar staff, and obviously everyone knows about the bar renovation which did go through over the summer. So as a result of that, I wouldn't want to bring any fixtures or paint the walls which would potentially just get knocked down anyway if this renovation comes through. I know Timmy's bringing in some new bar stools and just simple things like that. Resurfacing the pool table, maybe getting some new darts, any of the social things. Also, the thing that really sometimes annoys me is sometimes the projector's not working. And nobody really knows how to work it, we just need some simple instructions on it. Everyone knows how to work it, we can stop fiddling around and then we can actually just watch TV. With regards to the gym, obviously Tim spent the gym development fund this year on the treadmills. Obviously there are quite a lot of people that use the weights gym and both the cardio gym. With the weights gym, I don't think there isn't anything too major, it's just simple replacement things. So a new rope attachment for the pulley machine, maybe labelling some of the weights so people know what they're picking up. A couple of the replacements, the mats and some of the squat frames aren't being used at the moment or just aren't working, so replacing them, maybe get some new mats, maybe some new foam rollers so there's actually some stretching areas so people can actually stretch as well as work out.
The second question is, how would you see the role of the discipline alongside your own behaviour?
My own behaviour has been pretty exemplary. I haven't had any sconces yet. Haven't had, even though I'm part of a notorious football club, I haven't had a disciplinary yet. That might change next Wednesday, Norwich Wednesday. I think I've got the air of authority, I've got the respect. I feel I'm in the perfect position to take on this role. I think I come across as quite assured. I'm not someone that's got a reputation as not being a troublemaker, so I've got the perfect clean slate for the role of VP Discipline.
So yeah, my behaviour in terms of being VP Discipline, I've had some experience. I've had 2 sconces, I thought I should say, just starting off on that note. Just to say on the discipline side of it. They weren't for anything major, but I do understand that there are set rules, and if you break it, you know what's going to happen. So being on the other end of that's actually quite a good experience. I knew exactly what I'd done wrong, and I accepted that, and I paid my fine very quickly. So yeah, I've been on that side of it. I've never had any major disciplinaries. There was an occasion in John's bar with HEWRC, but that wasn't personally aimed at me, that was a misunderstanding. And I think my behaviour, I come across as quite a friendly and approachable person. I support my friends, I'm happy to talk to them about their issues, and that is another role, another part of the role that's quite significant. As significant, I would say, as disciplining people during formal, being a support for them, and being not just a policeman in formal time, but being a policeman for the college officers during those disciplinaries, being supportive, being a mediator, trying to facilitate the relationship so that the conflict, as I see it, can be managed as successfully as possible on your behalf. So I think being approachable and being able to talk to me and come up to me and trust that I will have your back in that situation. I think people that know me know that I will be there supporting you 100% of the way. And, you know, I can look up someone and give them a fine if they've been an idiot in formal. Yeah, got no issues with that. Friends, no issues handing out sconces to them. And I think to earn respect in a role, you have to demonstrate it, you have to earn it by doing a good job, by being impartial, by being fair. And I wouldn't treat everybody exactly the same. I wouldn't treat my friends any differently. And I would support everybody in the disciplinary as if they were my friend, because we're all part of the same college. And I'll do my best to facilitate that relationship with college officers in the most beneficial way to all of you.
Okay, being listed currently sits on 6 different committees. What is your understanding of the role of being listed in these?
Right, so there's a vast array of committees, Lummy Ball, Bar Committee, tech representatives, health and safety. I've looked at it all, and I think quite an interesting part is that it all links together. I think obviously there's the disciplinary side of the VP, but then again with welfare there's the VP side of it. Getting involved in many areas of college, and I think also partly being responsible for facilities around college is really helpful sitting on these different committees. So if you look at my manifesto, one of the main things is lighting the stairs down to the boat club. I think that's a real issue. I think that's also a health and safety issue. And I think that's something that the health and safety representatives could really get on board with as well. And yeah, so I think it all kind of links in together, and having that connection with different areas of college with Bar, obviously that's one of my responsibilities, Bar Committee, being part of that is really essential. Yeah, technical support, obviously I've got to be in charge of the PA system, don't have to work that currently. We'll definitely need to get be in contact with the technical representatives to be able to understand how to do that and to best manage that. So that's, yeah, my understanding is just to basically, it will make my job easier as VP discipline. If I get involved in these committees, get to know people, put good people in place who are going to be supportive, and yeah, just kind of try and manage it all under one college.
You have any questions?
Yeah, of course. VP discipline currently sits on 6 different committees. What is your understanding of the role of VP discipline in these?
Okay, so the first committee, the main committee is the Bar Committee, which VP Discipline chairs. Obviously it does take roles in the other 5 major committees, so the Health and Safety Forum, the College Council, which is the big one with all the senior college officers, also with the new one which is being renamed the Hatfield College meeting, and obviously as well as the Bar Committee you've got the Colours Committee, very important for sporting wise, and then obviously you've also got the JCR Finance Committee, which again is another big sporting wise. So they're your main commitments, and that's obviously tying up all the different roles of VP Discipline.
And finally, for me, how do you see yourself sponsoring or disciplining close friends or hitters?
I have no qualms sponsoring or close friends. You've got to give some tough love sometimes. I mean, you can't make any exceptions. If you're holding an area of authority, you can't take exceptions. It's something that I've got on the bar with numerous people trying to get a cheap pint or a quick pint in front of everyone else. You've just got to be fair for everyone, and that's the way you're going to get respect and also ensure everyone has a good form.
Yeah, sponsoring friends, I mentioned it before, with pleasure. I know I've got quite a rowdy group of friends, but they're the same as anyone else in the JCR, they know the rules. I think one thing I would do if I was voted in is to put everyone's pigeonhole, just a set of what the rules are. Because if you tell people what the rules are, and they know how to behave, it's up to them. Like, they can't have a go at me or think that I've done anything wrong if I got to them and say, you've broken the rule, here's your scones, pay it, we won't graduate. And yeah, so I think you've got to treat everybody the same. It's about being impartial, it's about being fair. And that doesn't mean I'm going to sconce anyone anymore, just friends. But yeah, so it's exactly the same as sconcing anybody else.
Any more questions for me? At the moment, welfare, social sec, and members out each have their own personal budgets. What are your views on introducing a budget for VP discipline, and what would you use this budget for?
I think that's an interesting question, obviously, because being part of all of the communal areas of college, that's a wide range of places to be involved in. I personally don't think that VP discipline would necessarily need their own budget. You were talking earlier on about wanting to get more of the arts committees and things involved. Another thing on my manifesto was trying to get the murals and B-sets finished. So obviously you could go to the Art Society, get people involved in that. They can get their own funding, they can do it that way. It's more about coordinating the already existing positions, because I think they are there. They just need potentially to be managed in a better way, and they can use their own finance routes, I personally think, in terms of getting that done. And obviously the bar, with it being regenerated, that's quite a difficult area at the moment. Probably it's going to stay as it is until we have more confirmation as to what the plans are and what's going to happen and when. But I think the current system is okay. It's more about coordinating what's there than bringing in anything particularly new.
when we bring in a budget for VP discipline, I think it's an area which we give them a lot more scope. I mean, I know at the moment there's a huge problem with just trying to get money out of Ian Curry. Someone is like trying to get blood out of a stone, and obviously it makes it a lot easier. Obviously you've already got the gym development fund, which again still needed hard work persuading Ian Curry, but again we've got those new treadmills, and it's a good feature that's been brought in. Obviously you have to make sure the money is going in all areas of college and not one area is neglected. But it would make it a lot easier, and as long as you're working with the treasurer and the rest of the exec, I think it would make improving college a lot easier, and we'd see a lot more benefits around college.
An important part of your role is as your vice president holiday role. How would you look to support the senior man at the exec as a whole?
I think VP discipline has got a very important role. Obviously, senior man is, well, they said there isn't this exec, there isn't a hierarchy, but it is supporting senior man, because obviously you have to fill their shoes if they do get ill or are absent. I think it's working as a team, so you're encouraging other people, helping to work as a team, to get things done for the best of college, and obviously not neglecting your own responsibilities as well. So really, you've got to have your own initiative as a leader and both as a team player, and it's balancing those commitments.
I think that's an interesting question. Obviously, supporting senior man's one of the top roles of the VP discipline, but I also think that there's so many aspects of the other exec that fall under the position of being vice president. So even with VP welfare, a lot of times in terms of disciplinaries, there may be underlying welfare issues. I mean, I think the two go hand in hand. Obviously, not all the time. There can be health issues, but there is also the position of I will know the exec if I'm like, I'll know what the welfare issues are in that situation. Obviously, I can't break any kind of confidentiality, but I am there to say to them, there is this that is available for you. I will have more in-depth knowledge by corresponding with the other two welfare reps on the exec. So I'll be able to then go to them, try and give them support, not just in the disciplinary against or in conjunction with the senior staff, but also trying to help them outside of that and give them the next level, to give them that extra level of support. Yeah, just coordinating with every member. I mean, Liver's Outback, something that they can potentially consider is the library, and potentially how to get people using the library a bit more, because that's also another thing that I think is potentially underrepresented. So coordinating with them, seeing if there's any core textbooks from particular modules that might bring in Liver's Out, get them involved, to be able to use the library and to use the reading rooms, which I think would be a really good thing to set up. Yeah, so I think it's sort of working with everybody else, coordinating, helping, because that's what the VP does, and that's what senior man does, is coordinating everything so it works smoothly as one body. Yeah, so that's my understanding of how to support senior man.
What's your current understanding about sort of disciplining members of the MCR?
Current understanding, obviously I know more about disciplining the JCR because I go to the JCR formal, so I see that side of it. Difficult question, I'm not actually 100% sure about the MCR, whether that falls under my category as VP discipline. But I'm obviously voted in by the JCR, so my mandate is from them. So that will be those are the people I'm representing, those are the JCR. You are my main concern. The MCR haven't put me into my position, so my connection with them can only be limited. If they're at formals and I'm there, obviously my role of enforcing the rules applies, because anybody who comes to formal is under the same rules. But in terms of being in disciplinaries, I think I don't have the same authority that would be given to me if it was from the JCR, because that's where the authority comes from.
I'm not 100% on the situation. Obviously in formals there are quite often MCRs and JCR formals, and it is the VP discipline's responsibility to go over and make sure they're not out of order as well. Even if the VP discipline doesn't have any authority, obviously I don't know this, I'd have to do the research, but you can still communicate and work with the MCR exec to get these sconces to these MCR members so they wouldn't go unpunished, and it would be again an equal fair for JCR and MCR in every situation.
I'd like to open questions to the floor. Yes, Ed.
Do you believe that there should be a team of junior discipline reps?
No. You don't need them. You've got tech reps, you've got DUA reps, you've got all the reps in the relevant areas, and it's working with the rest of the exec to get everything sorted and working with the bar committee. I don't really see what they do. You've already got enough people to delegate to. It's just too much bureaucracy.
I think having junior VP dis per se, again, I don't particularly agree with it, because I think part of the thing is having the personality, having that personal connection, knowing that there's going to be that person supporting you, that you and you voted them in. You know, you would have voted like Sam and I in with the vision that we were going to be there if you had to do other disciplinary supporting you. Having juniors, they don't have that same authority as I spoke about it before. You know, you elect an individual, and it's important. I think a very important role, and I think the relationship that VP will discipline will develop with college officers in terms of managing that conflict and resolving it in the best way for the student possible. That's with the individual. That's not with anyone underneath them. There could potentially be room, because obviously VP encompasses all of the communal areas, so potentially bringing in some juniors in terms of maybe more library reps to coordinate that, because I do think that's an area of college that's not developed as it should be, because I know that there is a budget, and the current process of going and asking for a book individually, I think could be potentially organised a bit better. So I think there's areas of college where there could be more members brought in, more juniors brought in, and obviously that would then be a next level to apply for VP discipline, having more knowledge of the areas of college, but I think the actual role, disciplining and being part disciplinary really should just be an individual. Any benefits?
So the officers you quite often have underneath you actually have quite big roles. So I'm thinking particularly of my role, can take on a very wide scope of things. And especially with the JCR Crisley hiring out equipment, would you look to expand the roles of officers that you have responsibility for, and perhaps for in committees for tech or sports or anything like that?
Well, definitely. I mean, I mentioned in my previous answer, I think, see how important those other roles are, those supporting subcommittees, I think, really support the foundations of the exec, and the exec are there to coordinate all of those. So to strengthen that, I think, would be to strengthen the exec itself. And as I said earlier on, technical stuff, you know, I can't do that, but I can appoint someone who does. And I think there's so many areas where people have specialities and people have skills in Hatfield, and there's such a diverse group of people who are so good at so many things. I feel that my role would be finding those people, allocating them, giving them the authority to be able to do their role and to benefit everybody. And I think that would benefit everybody. It's obviously specialisation, the way to go in terms of that. So I think that's a good point, and I really agree with that.
If any of the reps, obviously under me, so DUA reps or especially tech reps, did feel they need extra resources, and that can obviously be something to be considered. As VP Dis, obviously you're overseeing this, and you're making sure that they're all working for you as you are working for them. So it's a two-way relationship. So it's communicating, which is the key to all problems, and if there is an issue, it's working out a solution to it.
Are there any improvements you've made to the PG program?
PG is obviously a valuable area of community. As you probably know, and as all the great team will do today, I haven't actually been to PG in a long time, so I'd have to take a look at it. But obviously, if there is like money to go and it does need improvement, and it's one of the areas of course that does need improvement, then it would have to be improved. It's about making the whole college better, and if PG is the area that does need improvement most, then the funds will go to that.
Oh, PG, all the way across the river. Yeah, again, I need to look into it more, see where if people would want that, PG leaders would want their common room developed. Again, I think there's so many areas of college that everywhere needs to be assessed and everywhere needs to be kept an eye on. B-stairs, common room, mules, unfinished, things like that. There's lots of things which can be done, which wouldn't take necessarily too much finance or too much sort of, not hassle to organise, but too much organisation. There are people there who are willing to do it. It's just in terms of getting resources to them, coordinating it, and I'm sure it would be the same with PG. I'm not sure what a stage it's in, but if that is something that people who are living in PG would like, then that's something obviously, as we did in the
Any further questions? In which case we'll go on to answer our answers in a
diversity of what it entails. I mean, obviously, the face of it and what everybody thinks when they think of BP discipline is strolling around the floor, telling people off, looking scary, sconcing people, because that's what's in your face 2 days a week. People might be slightly less aware of what happens in the disciplinaries. I have had experiences with dealing with college officers, and I am passionate about it. I can take an impartial role. I am there to defend the students. I feel really strongly about that. I did that in my previous school, being a head student, had a good relationship with the senior staff, and I think that's completely essential. I'm looking to do my dissertation on conflict management between Arab and Israel, so if I can't do conflict management between students and senior staff in Hatfield, then that's a danger for my degree. Yeah, and then following that, obviously all the different facilities in college, look at my manifesto. I've thought about it, I've thought about even things like drinking water fountains, lighting areas, specific things I want to get done. And I think they are also achievable things. I'm not going to set out big plans, obviously regenerating the bar, I'll be involved in that, but that's not my project, that's just everybody can get involved in that. So I think I've got achievable goals, diversity that really appeals to me, and I think I will earn respect by just being good at what I do, being passionate about what I do, being impartial, being fair, and just demonstrating that it is something I'm definitely capable of doing, and I will do well at it. So, for me.
Everything I want to do as VP discipline is, I'd like to think it's realistic. Things like resurfacing a pool table, or improving the bar, or getting a new table tennis table is all quite realistic, and it's not going to cost too much money. So you're improving, it'll make a difference, and it'll improve college life. That's why I'd like to think that if I did get VP discipline, I'd improve college, especially the social areas. Obviously it's up to the JCR if they want to use the social areas, but I improve the social areas so it makes college a better place to live in, and so everyone would enjoy Hatfield a little bit more.